Okay. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Okay, I'll just share with everyone the opening prayers. Okay. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavid Varam Hari Om. Okay. And now we'll take a moment and chant Sadhana Panchakam. We'll chant the first and second verse today as we proceed to the second verse. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam veneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi Kamye matistyajyatam Papogah paridhuyatam Bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam Atmecha vyavasiyatam Nijagrahat durnam vinirgamyatam Sangha satsu vidhiyatam bhagavatah bhaktir dridhadhiyatam shantyadhi parichiyatam dridataram karmashu santyajyatam sadvidvat Sadvidvanupasripyatam pratidinam tatpaduka sevyatam brahmaikaksharamardhyatam shrutishiraha vakyam samakarnyatam Hari Om. Having issues? Anybody's having issues?
I've had it in the past also.
You're hearing me okay? My bandwidth is low. The network is low. So if I have to repeat anything today, I will. Today, the internet is giving problems. I'm actually using a backup system. Okay. Just make a quick change here so it is easier. Right. Okay. So where we left it off, we had seen in verse 1 several wonderful instructions from Bhagavan. Study the Vedas every day, and we described what the Vedas mean and how we can practice that through being in satsang every day at least, and then having a Vedic point of view. Then in the Vedas, we will be guided into what type of karmas we ought to be doing, what type of actions we are designed for, what type of actions will release us from mistakes we are making at the physical level, emotional level, intellectual level. So we follow those for our own benefit. And that should be done properly, steadfastly. And to do that, the third instruction is given. The attitude behind all of those karmas should be worship of the Lord. Tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. Now, doing my karma, considering it as worship of Bhagavan, means automatically my work will not be shabby. Correct? Automatically, I will do it properly, and I will do it with additional love. I will do it looking to make sure this is worthy of the altar that I'm dedicated to. So that whole bhav is very essential at the beginning and all throughout spirituality. We studied at that point, what is this Bhagavan? Who is this Bhagavan that we're offering to? And how the heart, in a very simple way, has to carry with it reverence, awe, gratitude, and that should always be present. Kamye matistya jatam. Then the fourth instruction is that, of course, naturally, desires will always rise in the mind. Likes and dislikes will always color everything that we see and say and think like that, right? So we will therefore want to do things according to for our own pleasure, but slowly, using the previous three sadhanas, we're supposed to rise above that. So Bhagavan acknowledges that, yes, it is difficult. Yes, desires and likes and dislikes will come in the way of our doing our duty. That is natural. The very exercise of rising above it and putting forward in our mind, putting priority in our mind, segregating selfish activities to the right time, the right place, and the right option. Doing that slowly, we rise above them. Then we spent some time last week on bhavasukhe dosho nusandhiyatam. Take out some regular time and again, daily, hourly, moment to moment, go on recognizing the flaw, danger, defect, negativity of joys born of the senses. Joys that arise like that. And what were those flaws and defects and dangers? We should think over it again and again. So we do that again today. The first one that we thought about was momentary. Every joy is momentary. In fact, that joy might only last a few minutes. Not might. It's hard to find a joy that doesn't last 5 minutes or less. Very interesting. Not only that, but the joys bring with themselves a cost, a momentary happiness because after 5 minutes, I just switch to something else. And then I'll be happy for 5 minutes and I'll switch to something else and I'll be happy for 5 minutes. But really and truly, are we happy with um, the exercise of having to switch, switch, switch? You might say that sounds perfect, but for those who do scrolling, every 10 seconds a different reel, you find it is not satisfying. There's a great defect in all of that sort of joy also, and that is that it has a cost, and that cost is the opportunity cost of our time. With that same time, what we could accomplish is mukti, is devotion, is freedom from different hang-ups and fears that we all carry with us, is releasing ourselves from bad habits. So you can accomplish such fundamental transformation in yourself, and you're giving that up, we take up to these momentary flash pleasures. And like that, you go on reflecting and you see that even though they last for a moment, they leave effects that last a lifetime, negative effects that last a lifetime. We studied that also. One such effect is craving. And marketing scientists know this very well. You just have to eat a few bites of the chocolate or the candy or the chips or the peanuts, right? And the joy is gone in a few minutes, but that craving remains there for lifetimes. And craving, like feeling itchy, is not a nice feeling. Gurudev describes this process of engaging in sense pleasure and then going away from it only to feel an inner tightness until we release again and have the joy. That whole experience describes it many different places. One place he says, the joy we get in engaging in sense pleasures is like the calm between two wars. It is not real peace. Another place he says, it is like putting on tight shoes only to have the joy of taking them off, only to put those tight shoes back on again so you can get the joy of taking them off. So the joy of just being yourself, present, aware, alive, right? That joy is very interestingly only recognized when we come out of sorrow. So we put ourselves into sorrow so we can enjoy what we have right now. So this process that we're engaged in, lifetimes upon lifetimes, we have been doing it, and we have not transformed sufficiently. So to see that, okay, this is what everybody is doing, and this is as good as it can get. The promise from the world that it's such pursuit of joy can lead to any fundamental happiness. That has to be seen. What I have right now, the joy I have right now, whatever, that is as good as it's going to get. And you ask yourself, is this it? This is it? This is all life can do? So to see that really speaking, finally, worldly joys themselves are sorrow because they carry with it so many defects. That is the final result of regular reflection on this. And it's essential to do it regularly because we don't realize that if you don't do this as an effortful process, the mind is doing the opposite automatically. Automatically, the mind is thinking, it will be nice if we eat this. It'll be nice if we go there. It'll be nice if I enjoy this. It'll be nice to watch that. So the mind is already doing the opposite habit. So if the mind wasn't doing that and wasn't looking out and be like, oh, we should go get that. We should buy this. I lost there. I could try again and get it next time. If it wasn't doing that and it was just quiet, well, we wouldn't have to do so much of this anusandhiyata. But in response to this natural as though habit of the mind, we have to regularly see the other side of the coin. It's not a pessimistic view. It is a very ordinary, objective analysis. Summing up the accounts properly and making sure it balances. It is like we go out taking loans and we never, and we're happy to put the bank into put the money in the bank, We never actually record how much we owe. For an accountant, they'll understand that there's something called um, dual entry accounting. So in all joys, there is dual entry accounting. And for as much joy as there is, you must keep in the mind and see clearly, well, there is just as much sorrow. In fact, because there is sorrow, the whole thing becomes like sorrow. Because I don't want a mixture. This is very easily seen. If somebody could tell or give us an offer to go on a cruise, they have those cruises you don't even know you're on the water. It's like a floating island. And there you have everything your heart might desire. Hmm? But at the end of that 1 month cruise, where you get 5-star treatment, 5-star food, 5-star entertainment. If you love satsang, 5-star satsang, everything. At the end of that, you will have 1 week or 1 day even of terrible stomach flu and sickness and cough and headache. Hmm. So you sign up for a 1 month cruise, you get all those benefits, and at the end of it, you get a day of that. Would anybody say, well, that's it? I mean, that's all I want in life. I've reached the pinnacle. There's no more happiness. You give me every positive thing I could ever want. No, even that 1 day of stomach flu and food poisoning and headache and cough and all of that, we will look and think, is there any way we can get more joy out of this without the negativity? Finally, we all want to be happy now and forever. We want to be happy now and forever. And everything about contact sense joy, it doesn't meet the test. It is not now. The sense joy is always in the future. And while you're enjoying it also, even if you admit I'm enjoying, that is for a few moments. And then it is in the future again. Right? So it is almost always in the future. It is definitely not forever. So it doesn't meet any of our tests. But people say, well, that is all I have. Don't take away what I have. How will I deal with all the sorrows I'm feeling so strong? And in fact, very much because modern life has robbed of us of ordinary, simple joys. The rush towards sense pleasure has become more. And the ordinary, simple joys talked about in scriptures have been said before. The joy of sitting and learning scriptures, the joy of hearing satsang, the joy of getting up and doing my duty, helping another person, the joy of remembering Bhagavan. These are all freely available things. So those are off the table. And instead we have pressure, worry, fear. We have people talking about disease, people talking about all kinds of things. And so we escape into, like an ostrich putting his head into some momentary joy. So this is the cycle they have us all in. To see it is a cycle, it is defective, and it is not the only way to live. And then what? The next one, Atme cha vyavasiyatam. So what do I do instead? What do I do instead? That is said next. We just chanted. The next instruction is that intensify your longing for Atma. That is the instruction. Intensify my yearning for Atma. It means to say, intensify means there should be a consistent endeavor to pursue a higher joy. Now, many people may not have even heard the word Atma, or if they heard the word Atma, it is just a theoretical concept or something like that. But the scriptures reveal everybody's heart knows Atma. Everybody's heart wants Atma. But it's just the words are different. There are many people who feel a sense of incompleteness in life. That is Atma Ichcha. There means that's desire for the highest. that is there in one's own self. It comes out in many ways. Is it not true at some point in your life, or you would have seen in other people's life? They say, from a worldly point of view, I'm happy, or I should be very happy, but I don't know what is missing. Something is missing. Or other people are looking for the meaning of life, or looking to have more meaningful experiences. So they feel like every day I'm just running towards this thing, running away from that thing. Let's go jump from a building or something. Let's face our fears. Let's look for something more meaningful, because every day is this ordinary rat race. Hmm? Some people say, I've bought iPhone 1. Now I've up to iPhone 5. I've bought 15 versions of iPhone, right? And buy it, wait till it becomes obsolete, get excited for the next one, buy it, wait till it becomes obsolete in about 9 months, buy the next one. I mean, how long I will keep doing this? So that type of idea, hmm, I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm missing something about life. That is Atma Ichcha, desire for something higher. So that is a good feeling. It is correct analysis that the mind has come to, that I'm enjoying things, but this is not the real thing that life is all about. What is the real thing? So scriptures will say, Atma drashtavya, that you have to go and um, discover the self. And I would then, in scriptural study, in satsang from saints and sages, I hear that what glory it will be to get Bhagavad Darshan. So they say, I want to see God now. Hmm? Or if they hear it in different ways, I want to know the meaning of life. I want to know the purpose of my life, this type of thing. The whole idea of this instruction is that when the idea comes, when the desire comes clear in your mind, not to let it flutter away, not to let it leak out and you go back to the ordinary humdrum rat race, but to intensify that desire, catch it, and embolden it with consistent endeavor. I am going to pay a price, whatever price you have, to pursue this desire. That is Atmecha Vivasiyatam. A readiness to, so the match just gets lit by itself in the heart. But now to invest in that and let it become a big flame in my heart by making a commitment that I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to pay a price and I'm going to pursue this. That. And when that happens, the next natural instruction is, I should tell you something about Atma Ichcha, though, and Atma. What is different about that pursuit, among other things, right? In short, the scriptures say it is like when a thirsty man finds a lake. You can't ever have any possible thirst thereafter. That is called the higher thing. And in comparison, every other desire you might pursue will end in a further desire. When you fulfill any desire, you will be left back at square one with a new one. So you have these two paths, like the ordinary and Atma Ichcha. That is the desire which finally fulfills all desires. It is called realizing Atma, one's own self. So just to make it clear what we're pursuing, when I'm ready to invest in that, the next instruction becomes Nijagrahat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. Quickly now, get out of your house. Quickly you leave in pursuit of that desire. This instruction, many people don't like. Leave my house? Can't I just stay at home from the comfort of my kitchen with my coffee machine and my favorite songs and my blanket and pursue the Atma from here? So when somebody says that, you say, yes, you can pick up books and go to satsang and engage, engage, engage. Remember this now instruction, Nijakar hat vinirgamyatam. This instruction is the eighth instruction. So there are seven before that to be practiced. But there is some truth to the real physical leaving of the home in pursuit of something higher. When you talk about it from a material point of view, people, I think, will understand that if you have to leave the village to pursue your dreams of running a business and go to town and move, people understand, well, you cannot stay in the village and enjoy the sound of the rooster and the fresh air and, the quietude, and at the same time want to run a huge conglomerate industry. You have to give up this thing to go get that thing. People very well understand that. And if someone is not ready to give up these things, you know right off the bat, they're not going to be able to go and get that thing. So, in the same way, for a bigger worldly goal, we give up a smaller worldly thing. For a bigger freedom, we have to give up a lower what you call safety. You want to enjoy safety in the whole world? Well, then we're going to have to give up the safety of a little house and walk out into the whole world like it is my home. You want to enjoy seeing Bhagavan everywhere? Well, then you'll have to take the feeling that you have in the mandir, leave the mandir and go out and start serving Bhagavan everywhere. No, 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 I don't want to leave my mandir. This is my mandir where nobody bothers me and I have my form of Bhagavan. I play my aarti and do my bhajan. What if I go out there and it's a different murti and it's a different bhajan, it's a different everything? Well, if you want to enjoy seeing Bhagavan everywhere, you're going to have to give up this smaller thing. This is the idea. And when you have made up your mind, Turnam, go right away, immediately. No hemming, no hawing. The idea is that without renunciation of our small hang-ups and insecurities, specifically in this case, the feeling of home, right? You cannot really say you have risen above it. Right. Now, human beings have shown a great capacity to practice this. When you look at the amount of refugees, when you look at the amount of partition, when you look at people who are grandparents who traveled from a different country and came to a new country for a better life, correct or not? The idea is when they left, see, the word is gamyatam, it means go. But there are two upasargas, prefixes, vi and nir. Vinir gamyatam. It means you go out with such a way in your mind that I'm never going to return. I have left that. Imagine to experiment with the feeling of going and pursuing a greater goal. Sometimes with the youth, we say, imagine you left your home and there is some geological phenomenal event and the whole country has been, or village or city is wiped out. So your school and your friends and your house and your favorite things and your closet, all of it is gone. And you are just now wherever you are. If that sort of thought sends a chill down your spine, then you know that, in my heart, I have the natural attachment to home. It is a very universal thing that we see in all animals. Hmm? Quickly, an animal will rush back to its burrow. Hmm? That means out when it's out surveying and attacking and protecting and all that. At the back of its mind, it has a sense, how far am I from home? And it knows how to get back. And you and I also, when we travel and go on vacation or go for office work or go visit people on the weekend, at the back of the mind, there is, I'm not at home, and I will be going back home. If you've ever traveled to an ashram and all that, I'm in this ashram, I'm doing tapas, I'm eating whatever food they give and all that, but eventually I'm going back home. So there is a tanpura, if you want to say, there is a background idea, sound that I am not at home where I am, and somewhere else I am safe and I am at home. But the idea that we're headed towards is that Bhagavan is equally present everywhere in this whole world. Sarvatra samana, equally present. So I should technically feel at home wherever I am. Correct or not? Wherever you are and you place yourself there, I'm just at home as I could be anywhere. My karma can find me right here. If I'm supposed to get a cup of tea, I get a cup of tea right here. And if I'm supposed to get yelled at by somebody, I'll be yelled at not I'll be yelled at home by the family or the spouse, and here I'll be yelled at by the waiter, which I'm here at home in this world. Like that. Moving in that direction. And Gurudev gives the highest definition that this instruction is to give up our identification with the first home place we call home, which is this body. If we're going to make progress on the spiritual path, quickly we should give up identification with I am this body. Instead, right away, a person can start to think along these lines that I am not my body, I have a body. I am the being inside, but this body is not me. It's a place. And so what happens to it is not happening to me. So I have immediately created some separation from it. But to give up my identification with my body is the highest meaning. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that if you're going to follow Sadhana Panchakam correctly, every Hindu at one point has to leave their house. That is not practical. You'll have 1.1 billion people leaving from one place to go another. That's not going to work. So there is an alternative meaning, which everybody's waiting for. Yeah, tell me that where I can stay here with my coffee and practice this. Give me that meaning, right? It means to say, first you practice it, but finally the idea is that the mind should get out of the house. There are people who might practice this physically and they go to stay in another place, and very quickly they turn that into a house. The temptation is there. We've seen in the Vedanta course and all that. Some people, when they come to the Vedanta, they bring all their things and make them feel at home. They bring their pillow. And very quickly they realize they have approached the thing with the wrong attitude, and all of that gets corrected. But the idea is, if you even go to the Himalayas and you still go there and think, well, it would be nice if I have a rug and I could put a little planter here and I could put some music box there. It'll be nice. I'll make this place feel like home. Well, you have not left home. And there are great saints and sages who, while being there at home, they weren't identified. This will be very much encouraged again for all those people who hit 50 around that age. Because vanaprasthi is signified, one of the great signifying features of vanaprastha, characteristic features, is that person does not feel like they are an owner of a space in this world that they have to keep and protect for the family. So there are many ways to execute that while staying at home. You put that home into a trust, or you put it in the name of somebody else. So you are also feeling like, well, I'm not worried about whether roof is leaking. This is not my responsibility anymore. I'm here, but I'm really not here. I have taken to a bigger life, and this is where I rest my head now. Hmm? And if the next generation wants to tear down the roof and open the place, I have passed on to them, and I have taken up greater responsibilities like for the community, selfless service, regular study, and all that. So this is going to come no matter what at some phase of life. And finally, giving up identification with the body. So this is the instruction, and it is necessary. And it is a great freedom also to leave behind your previous shell of a personality and walk into a larger personality. It is a great, great feeling. You might remember doing that when you walked through all the punctuation marks of life. Where, yeah, I used to act this way and used to behave this way and I used to go these places, but I've grown out of that. I'm a new person now. So this has to happen in a spiritual sense, very much so also, right? And the benefit is that you feel security, safety, comfort, detachment, closeness with Bhagavan wherever you are. That is what is shows a person has really practiced this. Then where will you go after you have left the home? In the second verse now, which we chanted, the first instruction is Sangha Satsu Vidhiyatam. A person should seek satsang. That is where you go. I mean, if you leave the home and you go on vacation, and then you say, I'm very well practicing this Nijeka Haturnam Vinirgamyatam. No. You're supposed to leave the home and go meet saints and sages, right? But let's think a little bit about this word satsang. It is a tremendous word in our tradition. The ordinary level for everybody is be in the company of good people. This is the instruction. Stay in the right group. And no matter what age you are, you will know among your friends, there is a right group. Right group means what? They take my mind in the right direction. Take my mind in the right direction. Like, there are so many groupings of people, and there's nothing wrong in going out and, for instance, going out late at night to town and hanging out with your friends at some event. But you know that in that environment, it comes with a whole set of other things. 1 a.m. downtown, whatever city, it comes with a whole set of other things or not. And your mind will be taken in a specific direction. So you hang with those people who will take your mind in the direction of Bhagavan or something nobler like that. We cannot hang out with Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves and think that we're going to be thinking about how Bhagavan is manifest and our bhakti will grow and our detachment will grow. It will not happen. If you're going to leave the comfort of your home to pursue something greater, wherever you, and that's why we give instructions also to youth. If you're going to a new country and starting a new job at some big tech firm and all that, it happens all the time, or some wherever the job opportunities are, first thing you find yourself in satsang. Where is the Chinmay mission? Where is the study class? Where is the mandir? First, find those noble people. And how to know if I am in satsang? Our Swami Prakashanandaji gives the easiest, clearest definition. The place where people are talking about Bhagavan, that is satsang. And the place where people are talking about themselves, that is the opposite of satsang, it's called kusang. And the joke is when so-called spiritual people get together, I have seen it like too many times already in my short journey in spiritual life. Immediately they start talking about, well, I'm doing this and my organization is doing that and I did this other thing and you should see, like that they talk. So even though they are supposed or usually noble people. For some reason, when they get together, it's kusang because they're not talking about Bhagavan. Like that. And to extend that definition a little bit now, satsang is where other people are talking about Bhagavan, or it's an environment that will take my mind to Bhagavan. That is also satsang. Like going to an ashram. It is an environment which is conducive for satsang, or being in monam. That is not directly satsang, but it is near to it because it is in an environment which makes it very easy for my mind to go to Bhagavan, like that. So all of this is where I should go, where I should take my body type of discussion, like that. Now, it's interesting that even while sitting in satsang and people are talking noble things, good things, inspiring things, transforming things about Bhagavan himself, right? My mind could go away to ice cream. Bhagavan is blue. And there used to be something called a bomb ice cream where the bottom is blue. It is the same color of Ram. Blue, red, and white. So good. And it was so, I haven't seen that ice cream in a long time. And so where, from what to what? So it could very well be while in satsang, my mind is not with it. So the next higher, deeper understanding of satsangastu vidhiyatam is that my mind should be with that topic, right? Finally, satsang boils down to what I'm associating my mind with. Am I associating my mind with worldly thoughts and selfish thoughts? Or am I associating my mind with divine, nobler thoughts? Any type of higher thought in comparison. Now, when you start defining satsang like that, the opportunities to be in satsang expands now. You could be reading a book. You could be writing a book. And the book is on some topic like nature, the different top 10 places in the world, the top 10 most beautiful birds or something, right? To think while reading that, wow, look how Bhagavan has been manifested in all these different colors and all these different shapes and forms and beaches and volcanoes and this and that. Then my mind is in satsang while reading a travel blog also. Then when you go out and listen to the birds, to think of Bhagavan, my mind is in satsang there. This is exemplified so beautifully in Ishvara Darshan, a text by our Puja Param Gurudev, Swami Tapavanji Maharaj. And we read it in Toronto several times, Ishvara Darshan. So you pick up a page of that book and give it a read, and you get a sense of exactly the higher definition of being in satsang. So it is a progress of practice. It begins with really being shoulder to shoulder in the right physical proximity of people who are talking about Bhagavan. And then being in the right environment also counts. And then also my mind associating with noble ideals is the highest level. But don't think that, my mind is great. Now that I have been in satsang long enough, I'm going to go and hang out with those 40 thieves. All it will be lost again. That is reserved for great saints and sages. Even Bhagavan Shiva. Para para paramangahu harashi dehu shri rang. Padap saroja anupayayi yani Bhagavati Sada Satasang is a famous line from Uttarakhand. Bhagavan Shiva prays to Bhagavan Sri Ram for devotion to his lotus feet and Sada Satasang. He wants to always be in that environment where Bhagavan is being talked about, being seen, being imbibed, being manifested, like that. That is the prayer of Bhagavan Shiva. So what about more us? Sada satasang. All the time, my mind should gravitate towards that. Right. And it's a slow process. Going from here to there is always a slow process. So practice, practice, practice. When in satsang, what will happen? What should be the effort? That's the next instruction. Bhagavataha bhaktir dradhad hi. And this one is very wonderful and deserves a lot of thought because the word bhakti has come again. Before it was offering as worship of Bhagavan. Physical action. I'm doing this and I have the feeling. Here you go, Bhagavan. Here you go, little boy, little girl. And you're thinking, my Bhagavan, this is my worship of you. Right? Like that. That's how I've been doing my work. Right? Then now, the instruction is what? Let that, well, let's take it slowly. Bhakti, devotion. People think, first of all, oh, that is love. Right? Let there be drida, firm devotion, bhagavataha, bhagavate, for Bhagavan. Right? We all know what it is to say, I love this food, I love that drink, I love this person, I love that show, I love this time of year, I love this place, like that. Love, correct? We know that this, that, and the other thing we love. And the number of things we love is how many? If you had to sit now and make your autobiography, and chapter 1 was called The Things I Love, so people can get to know you, and you had to make a list, how long would that list be in that chapter? And then you sort it. I love this one the most. I love this one a little less. I love this one a little less. Or do it reverse. I love this the least. And slowly they discover, oh, this is what he loves the most. So it'll be a long list, actually, because in any little situation, our love is restricted and confined and shaped by our likes and dislikes. Correct or not? So you love what you like. And any little thing, especially if you're a connoisseur, oh boy. Yeah, I like chai, you might say. But I don't like chai that doesn't have ginger. Karak, it has to be. The other chai is okay when you compare it to coffee, but so the like has become really, really refined. And that a whole chapter on how much I love chai and how chai should be and the right notes and how long the science of boiling it and the percentage of milk and sugar and a whole science will go in that chapters. So that is how we love things in the world. Confined, directed, shaped, restricted by our likes and dislikes. That is called love. And I'm using things, but when it comes to people, it is way more also. Guyanese people love Guyanese people. They like Caribbean people, but they love Guyanese people more than they like Trinidadian people. And Trinidadian people like Trinidadian people more than they like Guyanese people. And within Guyana, if you're West Coast, well, you like West Coast people maybe more than you like East Coast. And you like East Coast less or more than you like the Barbadians. And if you're in Trinidad, well, I don't really like them Tobago people. And then Tobago people, I really don't like them Trinidad people. But we're all Trinidad and Tobago compared to the United States. And so like that division and all of this kind of thing. This is how likes and dislikes are. And it is very strong. You see it when there is wars or fights or sports or whatever, right? Now, on the other hand, what is bhakti? Bhakti is that sort of feeling that when there is love for everything you see around, that is called bhakti. So it is not just ordinary love. What is bhakti? Bhakti is that where there is love for everything you see. That alone is called bhakti. And it is born out of a sambandha with Bhagavan. It is born out of my relationship with the Lord, who is everywhere. This is bhakti. Now we'll have to think about this a little bit, and the time might be a little less. But first and foremost, a clear understanding what devotion means. Huh? Yes, devotion is nothing other than the love that we feel for any little thing. That love alone, that feeling alone is devotion. But it is only called devotion when, really speaking, it is there for all the things I see. If that devotion is restricted, well, then you have fallen down to the level of ordinary love. It is not to really be called love for Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is everywhere. This idea that Bhagavan is everywhere can get very confusing very fast. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You mean to say I have to love the neighbor's child just as much as I love my child? You mean to say I have to love the terrorist just as much as I love the Swami? Because you said Bhagavan is in everything. When I see out there, I see Bhagavan. So I don't think that is tenable. Siya Rama mai savajagajani. Kara upranam jori jugapani. So when Tulsidasi says, I look out and I see nothing but Siya Ram, and I fold my hands together and do pranams. He had just as much love for the terrorist as he did for saints and sages like Puja Gurudev. How could Tulsidashi make such a statement? How was his heart so open and loving and flowing for the other side, which we don't like? And how can he live in a world like that? So this is what we'll have to deal with, but we'll have to deal with it next time. So you can think about it this week. And if you want an insight, I encourage everybody to get a copy of this Sadhana Panchakam by Puja Gurudev. Wonderful copy. With very clear and uplifting and authentic and powerful explanations. So we'll leave it here partway through Bhagavata Ha Bhaktir Dridha Thiyata and pick up from here next time. All right. So we'll say closing prayer and I'll leave it open for any questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Yes, let's stop this recording first. Huh?